I think we all sat down to watch Game 1 of the finals in quiet anticipation that maybe, just maybe, the Heat can offer up some resistance to the Lakers. And gosh darn it, Miami was on the verge of blowing LA out in the first quarter. But an increase in defensive energy and devastating freak injuries to key Heat players not only led to an easy Lakers victory in this game, but most likely the series. There were so many questions going into the series about how the coaching staffs would handle matchups and adjustments, and Heat coach Erik Spoelstra got the upper hand early with a big run to take a 13-point lead midway through the first. LeBron guarding Butler turned out to be a bad matchup for the Lakers, as Butler went 7 for 10 from the field for 16 first-half points. The simple inside ball screen gets rejected by Butler as he attacks to the baseline and forces the help from Dwight. LeBron was way too slow picking up Bam Adebayo on the roll, and it leads to a layup. Same action with Dragic as the ball handler. This time he uses the screen back to the middle. Watch how the pass fake from Dragic spins Dwight around as LeBron doesn't help off the corner and Goran gets the off-foot layup. The Heat go back to these two on that left wing, and on the step-up screen, Dwight drops to contain. On the shot, ideally Dwight would get into rebounding position in front of Bam, and Anthony Davis would have also stepped into the lane for the rebound. None of that happens, and it's an easy dunk on the putback. A nice wrinkle to pistol action is after the handoff to Butler, they set him a double ball screen. KCP and LeBron switch, but the slight delay gets Butler right into the lane. Dwight has to be concerned with the Bam roll, so he can't get to the front of the rim to contest. The Lakers want Dragic to go to his weaker right hand in the pick and roll, which is why Green is already forcing him that way before the screen gets there. Dwight gives him some room, confident he can get in the air quick enough to block any potential shot. But LeBron loses track of his man completely, which is why he never communicated a switch to Davis, and it gives Butler a free 15-footer to get the lead to 10. The Lakers run a pin down on both sides of the floor with staggered start times, with LeBron running the show from a stationary point out top. I have a one-dribble rule for Danny Green, since normally if he takes more than that, bad things happen to the offense, like this way off-target pass that Dragic steps in and steals. On the break, I had thought Dragic completely traveled here, but if you go frame by frame, you can see that he gathers the ball just as the right foot plants, allowing him a 1-2 into the air so long as he shoots or passes before he comes back down. Dwight trails and is there to contest, but doesn't give a second effort after the initial flyby, and the lead ballooned to 13. I've shown before how sharpshooter Duncan Robinson's gravity opens up easy shots for everyone else, and that was no different against the Lakers early. Watch how the Butler screen into handoff gets Robinson a step on Danny Green, triggering Dwight Howard to step up to contest. Credit goes to KCP for rotating early as the lowest defender and forcing Bam into a weak spot in his game, the post-up. With a similar action on the other side for Robinson, Bam knows Dwight is going to be at least leaning towards Robinson, so a fake handoff gets him right to the hoop and 2 free throws. They turn this into a double screen into handoff for Robinson, and watch how he'll get up in the air to simulate a jump shot before quickly hitting Iguodala on the roll. KCP again rotates to contest nicely, but let's face it, the Heat completely blow this layup opportunity. But the Lakers completely turned it around by the end of the first quarter. Tyler Hero gets way too loose with his dribble, easy steal for KCP. Unless you think this was a backcourt violation, all Rondo needed to do was get his back foot up off the floor before he touched the ball, which he did. Eventually, the Lakers get organized and want to use Anthony Davis on his preferred left block to mount their attack. And they get a mismatch with a simple screen for Rondo at the elbow. I don't like doubling the post from one pass away like Crowder does, but had the rest of the Heat rotated properly, they'd have been okay. Nice cut by Rondo to drag Robinson with him, but Iguodala is way too slow recognizing his rotation to Kuzma. Hero is supposed to bump up to Green while Crowder would rotate to Caldwell Pope in the corner. Instead, Iguodala gets beat off the dribble, forcing Crowder to worry about the ball, making him way too late to stop the easy corner 3. On this inside ball screen, notice the right corner is filled. Because the ball handler begins to use the screen back towards the middle, Robinson's job is to tag the roll man. Notice how he loads all his weight on the right foot. slowing him down enough that he can't explode quickly enough to get out to KCP for the same three he just hit. The Lakers opted to put Anthony Davis on Crowder, and AD's penchant for hanging around the rim to protect the paint will yield plenty of open shots for Crowder, who took advantage by hitting 3 of 4 triples in the first half. And it was off another handoff to Duncan Robinson. As he lures Rondo to step up into a double team, the quick hit to the roll man sucks AD over, and the easy kick out gets the Heat the only 3 points during this huge Laker run. Unclear what the heck Iguodala is doing here doubling Rondo when Hero is clearly picking him up. This causes confusion. Hero tries to find someone else to guard, unwittingly screening his own man as AD blows by Crowder for an easy off-foot layup. Can you hear me shaking my head? The Lakers are going to try and get AD the ball against the small every chance they get. Credit to Solomon Hill for fighting for his turf, but it leads to LeBron putting his head down and getting to the basket. Watch how he clearly lands with his left foot down first. That's his pivot. He then picks it up and puts it back down again. Clear travel, and to make matters worse, Adebayo gets his second foul call. On the inbounds, great double by Dragic to help the mismatched Hill down low, but LeBron knows right away that Jones wants no part of handling this ball. Even had the ball not gotten deflected by Iguodala, I think LeBron was stealing this pass, and what became a key stop for the Heat ends up as a layup for Anthony Davis. To end this run for the Lakers, LeBron says to Tyler Hero, "Come on down," as he gestures towards KCP to screen for him. On the short roll, it's the lowest man from the weak side that should rotate, not Solomon Hill. Now, once the ball is kicked out, Iguodala closes to the first pass, and Dragic should immediately be closing to the corner. But that doesn't happen, and Caruso gets the extra pass for a wide open 3. Here's a great set the Lakers uncork. Watch how Danny Green screens away for Caruso before snapping back off the Morris screen to get a look from 3 on the low post pass. Because the pass is coming from the hoop area, it's easier for Green to get aligned on the catch and let this one fly, despite the close contest by Robinson. When LeBron draws 2 defenders in the inside ball screen, it causes fear in the defense as Green flares to the open spot in the corner. Robinson does some pogo sticking, and Bam is the lowest man on defense and should be rotating to stop the penetration. Had that happened, Crowder would have been closer to his man in the closeout and maybe would have bothered AD on this bucket. Watch how Alex Caruso stays connected to Hero on this handoff curl, especially when AD stunts at Hero to slow him up for a dribble. That lets Caruso contest this floater. Hero totally missed Crowder wide open in the corner, and getting back in transition, Hero is lost. He doesn't know who he should be guarding till it's way too late as Caruso blows right by the terrible closeout and hits the layup before any other help can arrive. Dragic misses the window to make the pocket pass to Bam while the perimeter defenders stay home, enabling Davis to bat this shot attempt right to Rondo. By pushing this up the court fast and getting the quick drag screen from AD, the Lakers now have a severe mismatch down low. Iguodala is no match for the size and speed of AD on that right block, and here's a good example of why I don't advise doubling the post from 1 pass away. It's too easy of a play to hit the shooter for an open look as Morris gets it off and splashes it to increase the lead to 11. Is it a coincidence that the first possession of zone came right in the middle of a huge 24-5 Lakers run? It worked out okay for the defense on this one, as I had predicted that guards could be effective contesting the preferred Anthony Davis mid-range shots from the wing. But on the next time down, when the ball is swung from the top to the wing, it's Crowder's job to mark that receiver until Butler can get there. But Butler has no sense of urgency, Crowder gets out of there too early, and Green gets a practice shot. A strange sequence occurs here in the middle of this Lakers run as Butler drives strong to the hole and gets an apparent and one. Danny Green wants a review, and for almost a minute, the referees can't get organized enough while Butler is waiting at the free throw line. What this means is that the Lakers had time to watch a replay and decide if they wanted to call for a review. The refs should never have allowed this. Even Steve Javie said so, since once the free throw shooter is handed the ball, you can no longer challenge the call. But the refs let the Lakers do it, and here's what happened. First, Green could have easily been called for a foul on this initial bump. That's significant contact. Next, Butler could have been called for an offensive foul by swinging the elbow into Green's face, even though Butler was going up into a shooting motion and had his hand on the ball. Ultimately, the refs counted the basket, but no and one, and I don't think anyone was happy with this decision. Despite Hero still being on the floor, curiously, LeBron calls for Butler's man-to-ball screen. And check the spin move LeBron hits him with to get by. He adds one more dribble mid-spin, gathering with his right foot down, then finishing with a simple 1-2 for the layup as Bam watches, worried about the lob to AD and another foul. LeBron tries to get Robinson onto him with the ball screen near the post, but Crowder won't budge, and I like how Hero rotated over, but he's got to get between his man and the rim. Good pass fake gets Kuzma right into the lane, the lowest man Iguodala has to rotate over, the farthest man has to rotate down, but that part doesn't happen and AD knows what to do with it. As this game was about to get completely out of hand, Butler extends his last step to get some separation from AD, but rolls his ankle and might have hyperextended his knee. While he's struggling just to stay on his feet, the Lakers come right down, not a soul picks up AD of all people, and he makes it a 17-point lead just before halftime. While this replay shows that the ankle might not have been severe, I'm also worried about Jimmy Butler's knee and the way it seems to buckle and hyperextend. However, key injuries to Bam, Dragic, and another ankle sprain to Butler have completely hobbled the Miami Heat, mostly from having to expend extra energy against such a tough and physical Lakers defense. There was no hope in the second half, as word started to leak that Dragic might be done for the series with a plantar tear in his left foot. Bam Adebayo most likely won't play in Game 2, and I guess Butler is going to tape it up and push through it. But the only chance the Heat had in this series was being completely healthy, and the basketball gods making sure a number of plays and calls went their way as well. Dragic hadn't been moving well for a week or two, so maybe they can get better play with more energy from the young guns like Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn. But without Bam Adebayo, the Heat don't have anybody to rely on to play the Lakers' big men. Maybe we'll get playoff Myers Leonard, but he hasn't played 1 second since February. All of this spells victory for the Lakers, most likely in easy fashion, so expect to see LeBron and company hoisting another trophy after 4 or 5 games. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe for more playoff breakdowns coming up. We'll have at least one a day during the postseason, so turn on those notifications so you can be alerted right away. You in?